Okay, well, I did mention to you that last time we did a video, we would give you just a real brief tour of our RV. Well, not even really a tour, just to show you what we live in. Since we're full-time, what we live in. And you don't necessarily have to go with something gigantic. While this 35-foot Brinkley is classified as a big rig, you probably well know that there are plenty of people that are another 7 to 10 feet longer than this, and that's fine. Some people are undaunted by that. I have talked to a number of people who have bought bigger rigs and then it really curtailed their traveling. We met just a couple here the other day that have a 45-footer fifth wheel and a dually, and they don't go out that much just because it's intimidating. But we're comfortable with the 35 feet that we've got here. We find that it gives us plenty of room inside, and yet it's still of a length that allows us to get into a lot of places that some people cannot get into with these giant rigs. So that's the RV in a nutshell. The truck, nothing spectacular here, although I guess I think it's spectacular. I love this truck. The Ford F350 Super Duty. This is a 2019 Lariat. It's a shorter bed, 6 3/4, and in hindsight, I wish I had gone with the 8-foot bed. I think I mentioned that in the last video, that if you're getting ready to buy a truck, either you've had one before or you've not had one before, but I said, you know, I made that statement, go big or go home. It was joking, obviously, but there's some truth to it. I wished we had gone with the full-length bed, and I wish we had gone with dually, at least the full-length bed, because a couple of things. One is we're just 400 pounds under hitch weight with this right now. And if we had the long bed truck, we could get another 400 pounds of gross vehicle weight out of it. And that's a big deal. Plus, you get the extra bed length on there, which gives you more storage. The dually, although some people find it a hassle, there's some beautiful things about a dually. One is if you have a blowout on a rear tire, it's not quite as devastating, but mainly it's super stable, a lot more stability. Sorry for the redundancy there, but it's just what it is, and I just think it's a better way to go. But at least if you even if you don't want the dually, go with a long bed. And there's another consideration too, that's fuel capacity. This came with a 34-gallon tank. Now we did add on, you can see it hanging down there, lower than normal, Titan tanks out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. Makes aftermarket tanks that fit, and this one is, what is it, 55 gallons. Like I said, it came with a 34-gallon. Now, if you bought the long bed version of this, you wouldn't have had to do that because it comes stock with 48 gallons. And if you've ever pulled an RV through a gas station, you know that's a big deal. We love the fact that very rarely do we take our RV with us when we go to get gas. We're usually able just to disconnect and when we get to our campsite, and then go get fuel. And so let's take a real quick look, real brief inside here. All right, real quickly here. I'm not going to take you on a detailed tour of the inside of our RV. You could go on Brinkley's website and get a much better tour than what I'm going to give you. I just want to point out a couple of the features in here that we really like. The first one is just general. I love just the modern look in here. It's contemporary and up to date. I love that Brinkley has gotten away from those hideous valances and curtains that the RV industry has done for the last 50 years. Also, I love the lack of screw holes and staples and other fasteners being visible from the inside, or holes where they missed something and then tried to cover it up, or the massive caulking around doors and windows and whatnot. And then there's also the build construction. I love the solid surface countertops that they put in these things. I love the quality of the doors. They're hardwood through and through. They're just solid as can be. I really like that you don't have all the staples and the screws. Here, get my finger out of the way. On these, they use that dovetail, and then the quality of them, these are finished and they're more solid. You know how it is. You get splinters and rough surfaces. They don't bother to finish that off. But we love the, like I said, the contemporary look that you get in here, and we're just really happy with it. Previous video, we had talked about how and why it is that Angela and I decided to full-time RV and the different ways that some people experience that. Just briefly, we mentioned that, you know, there are those people who travel all the time. They're on the go, it seems like anyway. And there, on the other extreme, there are those people who seem to never travel. They're like permanently fixed. They don't go anywhere. And then another way of doing it, which we explained, is kind of what we do, where we're kind of part-time stationary and then part-time traveling around. And so we stay here at an RV park called the Ambassador RV Resort in Caldwell, Idaho. It's a regular RV resort. People come in for their daily or weekly stays, and then there are other people who might stay for an extended period of time, even like a month or so. And then there are permanent spots, kind of what we're doing. I wouldn't say permanent, but indefinitely permanent. And they have a whole section just for people like us who keep a spot here. And I'll take a moment to show you around. So yes, they have different sites that they keep for the people that are staying here on a full-time basis versus those that are daily, weekly, or even monthly for that matter. And we get really the nicest sites. They're bigger than the rest of the sites, although the rest of the sites are large as well. They're very generous here, but they're even bigger here. Take a second to show you around. So, by the way, it's going to be really hot here today. 102 is what they're saying. We're very strategic about the way we set things up. Our chairs, that is. We have this little storage shed, so in the morning, in order to be outside without the sun beating right on you, we're there. And then we and as the shadow shifts and comes over this way, because the sun will be going that way, we get shade along here, and so we'll move those chairs and put them over here. And then as the day progresses, then we get in our nice patio chairs, uncover those, and sit out here. So it's pretty humorous, actually. We're kind of shifting around, at least this time of year, to escape the sun. And when it gets colder, well, then we're going the opposite, trying to be in the sun. So anyway, let me show you how big these sites are. Hang on just a second. I'm going to go around to the front and show you from there. So here we go. We go all the way from there. That strip is ours, where we have the truck parked. And then we have this nice grass and patio area, and then plenty of room for our RV, and then clear over to here where the utilities are. So basically it goes from that utility box over to that utility box. And then that, of course, that's for our neighbor there. But you can see these are really big, spacious sites. And as I mentioned, the sites for everybody else are good size too. Bigger than perhaps most RV parks that we've been to, but not quite as nice as this. But let me take a minute now to show you what our connections look like. And one of the things that I'm going to mention when I do that is how far back the utility boxes are. And there's a reason why we pulled all the way forward. We could have pulled back further and closer to where, in fact, let me just show you, okay? So utilities are way back here, as you can see them over there. And so I guess maybe you might be wondering, well, why didn't we just park further back, and then we wouldn't have to stretch things out. But this is why, because the way this patio is, it's nice, but it stops right here. And so if we were to park further back, our awnings, well, number one, you can see really, really close to the shed, but I could work around that. But we'd have to sit out here in the gravel all the time in order to take advantage of this awning shade in the afternoon. And so because we wanted to take advantage of as much of the patio as we could, we chose to pull forward. Now let me show you this. So there's a good perspective. You can see the utilities right here, and we're pulled forward. And it does present a challenge. I mean, we're able to make it with our hose. It's, you know, doesn't seem that daunting. The sewer here, we had to use a 10-foot and then a 5-foot section and a 2-foot section to make it there. It works well. This connector, for some reason, is a little funky. I'm not sure if it's residential or what, but my normal elbow here, I couldn't use. It's for whatever reason, so I had to get this older one out and thread it in there, but that was no big deal. Again, with electricity, we have a long run. The power cord would not make it quite all the way there. I think we're short by about 5 feet. So I have to use this extension cord in here to connect to it. And I don't like to do that. I'm just not a fan of extension cords when you're doing the power, but I did. And so I use this utility box here to keep it dry and to keep it clean. Water, this is a bit older, it works fine, we don't have any issues, but you know, it's just older is all. They do keep it enclosed and heated for the winter time, which is nice because you do need this all to be heated. Again, this is all older, but it's still in good working order. You got your 50 amp and your 30 amp and your 110, and it all works really, really great. Climbed up on top of the RV just to give you a little bit of a panoramic view of what the park looks like in our section anyway, from up here. These trees are a bit overgrown. They haven't been trimmed in an awfully long time. I'll show you a picture of what it used to look like here years ago. So here's a view from the outside, the entrance at the Ambassador. They got one entrance over there, and then they have a second entrance over here. We're down in this area here, which is where a lot of the permanent full-time positions or spots are. It's been incredible over the last few years. They've built this area up so much you probably wouldn't even recognize it if you had been here 10 years ago and then come back today. I've got a photo I found of what the area looked like around here just before or years before they started doing all the expansion here, but they put this large D&B right across the street from the RV park, which is right there. And then just over there, they're building tons and tons of warehouses, including a gigantic distribution center for D&B. And then we've got the school down over there. Put in a Maverick gas station here. Credit union, bunch of strip malls. This whole area was absolutely, you know, there was nothing here. It was just fields out in this area. And now the growth is just incredible. Again, it just blows my mind, the growth in this area is just over the last few years. You can see they're putting in a Home Depot there. You got the Maverick right here across the street from the Ambassador RV Resort, and then they're planning some more growth over here, building up a strip mall. But it's just crazy. This used to be a very quiet area. This was all fields and farms, and there were crops growing here not too many years ago, and now it's just explosive. So surprisingly, it's fairly quiet inside the park, even though all of this expansion and growth has taken place outside. Traffic has increased like you would not believe. Well, yeah, you would. But if you really enjoy being in the midst of all this, having a Home Depot just a stone's throw away, a great D&B store, it's an awesome store. If you like being in the midst of all this and having all of that around you, you'll like it here a lot, because the Ambassador is now right in the heart of it. Well, let's go inside and see what it looks like inside the park. So here's where the offices and the clubhouse, workout room, swimming pool, laundry, and all that is. And we'll take a look over here. Here's the swimming pool area. They've got a good sized hot tub over there. It'll fit a number of people. We enjoy that even in the colder months. Swimming pool is really nice as well. One thing we do appreciate is that they're not using chlorine. They use more of a some other method of keeping the pollution down in it. But other than it's more of a residential sized swimming pool, it's a nice place to come hang out here. And then back over there, you can see there's a little children's swimming pool as well. They also have a sauna. Never used it, so I can't tell you what it's like. But this is a nice patio area. As long as I'm in this area, this is a good time to show you what some of the regular campsites look like. I mentioned to you earlier that they're not as big as our sites where the permanent are, but you can see they're spacious. There's not a lot of RV parks that you get this kind of room. Again, here's another view of some of the regular RV sites with a few people gone. It gives you a really good perspective of how spacious they are here. This is their fitness room. It's small, but it's adequate. All the equipment that you'd find in a larger fitness room, just less of it, but it's in good shape, most of it new. They do have a couple of laundry rooms, this one and the one on the north end. Oddly, this is the main one. I'll take you over there in a minute and show you the one on the north end. Here's the laundry room on the north end, and again, this is where most of the dailies and weekly folks would not be coming in. This just mostly serves us as full-time RVers here. So this is that second entrance I was telling you about. The D&B is out over there, more warehouses, the distribution center. This is the row that we come in when we park, because we're just down this row. The trees here have grown over immensely. They need to do some serious trimming. People, when they're coming in or out of here, have to drive right down the center, as you can see, because the trees are hanging so low. I'll post a picture up again showing what it looked like before these trees were grown so big. Here's the other restroom and laundry facilities that I was telling you about, and this serves really just people over here in this full-time section. It would be too far for people who are staying overnight, because they're clear back in the other side of the RV park, so it wouldn't work out so well for them. Just did want to show this to you real briefly here, that we do have the school right next door to us. So we do get that noise in the school year, during the school year. It might not seem like much, but it's kind of funny. They get on there with their PA system, and it's like being on a military base sometimes. It's crazy. These are the bathroom facilities at the north end. Echoey as you would expect, not really going to take you in. You know what a bathroom looks like. They're clean. They keep them very clean. And they all have showers, which is nice. And it's air conditioned in here. Whew, feels good. So there you have a basic tour of the Ambassador RV Resort. And they keep it just really super nice and clean. It always looks like this. They aren't doing anything special here. They trim the grass. They keep it picked up. Hopefully they'll trim most of these trees. They're working on it, but it's a lot of work. We're right over there. And so I think that wraps it up. Okay, I lied. I'm not done. I said I wrapped it up, but I don't mean to be a liar. I did want to finish by saying that the Ambassador RV Resort really is a nice place to stay. We've been here for a couple of years, plan to be here for about another year. This serves as our home base. When we want to travel, we take off and go whenever we want, but it's nice to have the same spot to come back to each time that we're here. So we do like that. That said, as we plan to travel more and more, we don't know whether or not we'll keep this as a home base, because you have to continue to pay for it, of course, while you're not here, and that can be kind of expensive. But if you are looking for an RV resort to come to because you want to visit the greater Boise area, or because you have events in this area, like their great rodeo every year, whether you're staying for a day, a week, a month, or if you're looking for a permanent spot to settle down for a while, this really is an excellent place to choose. So I would recommend it to you. All right, now I'm finished. Seriously.